Hey guys, it's Lori. So something a little bit different today. I'm going. Some viewers have sent in some questions, and I'm going to spend a few minutes answering them. I may have to break it up into two because I don't want this to be a super long video. But it's kind of a preview of what the live would be like. Obviously, if it was live, you'd be asking me the questions live. But I just kind of wanted to. I have not read them yet and like meditated on them, so they're. I'm just going to read them um, and answer them. You know, off the top of my head. The one thing that kind of bothers me about the lives or about doing this is if somebody asks me like a personal question for them, I don't mind answering anything about me, but if they ask me something for them, confidentiality goes out the window. It may not this way because if you ask me to change your name or something, I can do that. But on a live, it would. And we really can't get in depth because, we don't want to bore everybody else to death. So, that being said, this is the first one. I might do a few. I might have to. I don't even know how many questions, but I might have to break it up into two. You know what? If you have animals, have they been acting kind of strange lately? My animals have been acting really strange. A lot's been going on with me, though, and for a little while I wasn't around, and um, especially well, no, I was going to say especially my dogs, but I think the cats are being really odd too. Could be the shift in the energy, could be they know that mom's really upset. You know, I'm going to do another video on this, but people have really shown me that they don't really care. I'm talking about people in my immediate circle. And it truly hurt me, and I think the animals can pick that up. Anyhow, I will be right back to answer your questions. Stay tuned. Hey guys, okay, I'm back. So I just gotta find the questions, and my animals they're acting really bizarre. If you hear the little pitter patter of their feet, it's just them. You might hear occasionally things getting knocked over. This has been like, I don't know what's going on with them. But, okay, let me find the first question. A couple people did ask me to change their names, and that's okay. Okay, let me see. All right. So, the first one, I'm going to say her name is Jess. And I think I told her that I would call her Jess, so hopefully you know who you are. She wants to know what's going on with, I'll name him Bob. Would be really nice to know. I'm not getting everything I need, so it's hard to know if I need to tell him so or if I'm not getting it because he's not willing to give it. Okay. All right. So I feel like you guys have talked about this before. I do think I don't know where the relationship stands. Obviously, you don't really either. That's your question, I know. But I feel like he's been really hurt by somebody. So his feelings for you are genuine. But whatever agreement you guys have come to, so many people do this whole, we're just going to take it slow. Or, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but, or we're just not going to be serious. We'll be friends with bennies or whatever. It doesn't work that way. One or the other is going to start, catching feelings, like the young ones say. And then the other one's like, hey, wait a minute, but I thought I told you. I don't think it's quite to that degree, because I do think you guys have had some in-depth conversations, and he really does genuinely care about you. I don't know if there's somebody else in his life. I think he's really fearful of jumping in full force. He absolutely has the ability to give you more. I feel like fear is holding him back. It's up to you if you want to hang in there and wait. Absolutely tell him what you need. He's probably going to come back with, well, I'm not really sure that I'm in a place to give that to you now. Listen to what he's saying. Don't say, yeah, but look at his actions, because right now he's able to have you like a girlfriend, but also have it his way, You need to really think about what it is you want. He does have the ability, absolutely. Right now he's full of hurt and he's full of fear. Those are his blocks. So if he would be willing to work on that, if you're important enough for him to work on that, and I think you are, take the chance of letting him go, because he's not going to go for long. He'll be back. But you definitely have to, set those boundaries and tell him what you're thinking, honestly, with compassion. Like I said, he's able. It's not that he's not able, but right now he's in a place of fear. It also says that you're concerned about your oldest son. I feel like it's all like one big cluster F with him. Everything's kind of up in the air. His emotions, he's really low energy right now. But I do think you're going to get some really good news about him. I don't know if you've seen him recently. If you haven't, you're going to see him around that same time. Timing I'm no good with, but I do get it as soon. It's still winter when you get some really, really good news. So I hope that helps. Just if you need more, like if you need something more in depth, this is kind of both topics are pretty personal, and I don't want to go too in depth. But reach out to me, email me, text me, whatever, okay? Sorry about that, I got a call. I don't know if you guys noticed the interruption. Okay, this one's from Autumn. She wants to know if she should stay at her current job. The immediate feeling I get is you could, but no. There's another job opportunity coming for you. I don't know if you don't like your job right now, or if there's just something going on that's stressing you out, but I do feel like things aren't going to go the way you want them to, and another job opportunity is coming. So no, that is not the job that you're going to stay at. I mean, it's not something to the level where you have to, quit today and be without a job, but I do feel like this is not the job you're going to stay in. Okay, let me see what else we got. Okay, this is, there's no, I don't think there's a name attached to this one. Kristen. I have many times in my life when I have suddenly been overcome by an electric-like feeling. Once while sitting with a dying patient. When he passed, I felt him sit up through me. I was hugging him at the time. Is this what spirit feels like? Absolutely, it can be what spirit feels like. There's different feelings with spirit, and you don't have to be gifted in any way to get that vibe. Many people talk about being with their parents or a loved one when they cross and they can actually feel something. I have a very good friend. She felt her. She knew she passed. She felt her. She said she felt this amazing, amazing love. And she knew that she felt as if her mother was hugging her. That was at the moment of death. I know sometimes, because we're all energy, right? And energy doesn't die, it just changes form. So, yes, sometimes it can feel absolutely electrical. Sometimes it can feel like you've gotten zapped, like, you put your hand in a socket. Another time it could feel like, chills or something. You learn to discern if you feel it more, but if it's something that you don't get all the time, absolutely that could be spirit. Yep. Of course, there's other reasons for that. I wouldn't say while she was hugging the dying man. I definitely think that was spirit that she felt. But, I mean, you got to check out the obvious. Are you around anything electrical or anything like that, Okay, then we have another question. And there is no, I looked for a name on this, and there is no name. But somebody asked, is heaven real? Absolutely, heaven is real. Absolutely. I've heard people say it's a state of mind. I've heard people say, you get what you believe in according to death. Well, no, that's been debunked, so to speak. I mean, there are people, they say Christians will see Jesus and Muslims will see Allah, and, Buddhists will just go into, whatever, reincarnation, whatever. No. I understand that way of thinking. I understand. And I do think we're going to immediately upon crossing, we're going to see what's familiar. Yeah, I can go with that. What you're going to see. But what about these people that don't know? Or they're staunch atheists, and then they have a near-death experience. And they come out of it and go, oh no, I'm not an atheist anymore. So yes, heaven is a place. It's a real place. And you have that closeness, that connection to God in a way that we don't have it here. Although he's always around us here, but heaven, and from what, and of course, I don't know, but from what I do know, the experiences I've had, what I've been told, what I've learned, what I've experienced myself, heaven, well, it's got the same designer as here. So it's beyond what we could even fathom, but it has very similar to here parts, I guess, but to perfection. There's Donna. How does spirit connect with you, and what was your first experience with a divine connection? I connect with spirit in different ways. Some people are just audio, some people are just visuals. Some people have feelings. There's clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience. I kind of have all of the above. And I have the physical feelings sometimes. Sometimes I get an actual physical voice that I hear, not in my head, but outside of my head. It's as if somebody's whispering in my ear. Sometimes I just see something in my head. It's all different ways. I would give this advice. Anybody, this isn't something you should just mess with. And anybody that watches me understands and knows that I get pretty frustrated with irresponsibility when it comes to this. Well, when it comes to any matter, but when we're dealing with the spiritual realm, this is not kid stuff, okay? It's not, and I don't mean to say that kids don't get it. They do. I'm actually working on a video about that, but it's nothing to be played with. It's serious. It's real. Is heaven real? Yeah. Is hell real? Yeah. Is the spiritual realm real? Yeah. Are there good spirits and bad spirits? Yeah. And I know some people choose, oh, nope, there are no bad spirits because I don't believe in them. There's a lot of things that I don't believe in or I don't agree with or whatever, and it doesn't make them not real, I do think when we're in the spirit realm, there's people that say that, and I know I'm back to the other question, people that say that we get what we know. I do believe there is some truth in that because we have more abilities there. We can travel without a car or a plane, or and we can go and see things. I don't know, but anyway, I went off topic there. And what was my first experience? I couldn't really tell you about my first experiences because I was so very young. I was 3 years old when I realized it was spirit I was connecting with, or I actually voiced it and talked to somebody about it. I think I realized it before then. I always felt a real connection to spirit. In fact, it's more than a connection. What I've always felt, and more so as a young one, I think, now I've kind of learned how to live with it, but I felt as if I was in one world and in the other. I didn't belong in either one. I still feel that way. I think that's why I'm hypersensitive recently, the veil has been lifted even more. People are unable to hide their truth. And sometimes it's really painful. It's really painful. And it's really painful sometimes I don't want to see things, So, I always. Now, there is one question that just came up as I got older. I always thought I was born this way, and maybe I was. Of course, I don't remember that far back. There are some people I know that can remember being in the crib. I'm not one of them. But I do know that there was heavy-duty sexual abuse at a very young age, and I don't know if that's what opened me up, or if I was born that way, because it would have been at such a young age. That's one thing. If somebody has been through a traumatic experience, whether it's abuse, whether it's a bad accident, whether it's a physical illness, major heartache, the loss of someone, a divorce, something traumatizing, whatever that, it's all relative, whatever is traumatic to you, right? Yeah, my dog is shaking now. What's up, Mags? What you doing? What's the matter, little girl? I love you, baby. I love you too. Baby's looking at me like, what? What? Go ahead, babes. Go get what you wanted. Go get what you wanted. Anything like that, any kind of trauma or major impact will, sometimes, not always, but for some people that opens the door right up. And then all of a sudden you have this spirit communication or this gift or ability that you never had before. So who knows, right? How can you be sure? This is all the same person here. How can you be sure that that the spirit you're communicating with is not negative? Okay, this is where, I tell people that I don't fit in with traditional believers. I don't fit in with the New Age group because of, I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, Yeshua HaMashiach, and one true God, and that's Yah, or God. That's my firm faith. I have absolute faith in that. I've gone down a road of New Age and Buddhism and Hinduism and, every ism that there, not every, but I did a lot of exploration in spiritual matters. I mean, I didn't have anybody to guide me or anything. I went from Catholicism, which is what I was born into, to completely backing away from everything, to, I think, like the Buddhism and Hinduism and all different, like, eclectic, putting a bunch of stuff together, making my own religion, thank God, all the way back to where I found Jesus and I met Jesus, and I thank God that happened. But anyway, so spirit communication, and people say, well, it forbids it in the Bible. Well, it forbids you to talk to the dead, absolutely. And I believe that people that are damned cannot communicate with me. I do house cleansings and stuff like that. I believe that maybe not that high, but a high percentage of hauntings are not people at all. They're demonic. You have to use discernment. And how do you know? How do you test the spirits? The Bible says to test the spirits. How do you test the spirits? And one thing I don't do, I don't call on anybody. I don't have seances. I don't use Ouija boards. I don't call on anybody. In fact, when I was a little girl, I didn't want spirits talking to me. Sometimes now I don't want spirits talking to me. It's just who I am. I can't stop it. I prayed for years, if this is not what he wanted, to take it from me. And, I stopped with a lot of the stuff that I was doing because you have to give it up before God will take something, right? You have to be willing to sacrifice it. And I did. And here I am. And that's a whole other video. But you have to test the spirits. And I read the Bible every day. I study the Bible every day. And I pray every day. And pretty much how you test the spirits is you want to ask them, who are you? Who do you worship? Who's the Savior? Who's Lord and Savior? And if they can't tell you that Jesus is Lord, you don't want to be talking to them. So that's how you know. I have heard stories on a personal level, read books about it, so people I've never met, but people I have met, I have seen them deal with negative entities. I have dealt with it so many times on so many levels. I go and help people with it. Cleansing houses, objects, because objects, furniture, smaller objects, jewelry, can hold, houses even, can hold the house isn't evil, the jewelry isn't evil, whatever. But sometimes if something really negative happens, the residual energy stays. So that's not a intelligent energy. That's not an entity. That's like a, even it happens in houses or places sometimes. It's a residual energy. Whatever happened, it made such an impact that it like repeats over and over and over. It's like made such an impact in that energy field. Um, so that can happen. It could be that. And then, sometimes objects will, especially if they're like stones or anything that picks up and holds onto energy, can actually have that negative entity, um, you know, um, put that energy. So it's bad juju. Have you ever gone to like a thrift store, you bring something back, or a secondhand store, or a antique sale, or what do you call it, like, I don't know, I can't think of the name right now, but when people sell stuff out of their house, oh gosh, I can't think. Anyway, secondhand stuff, you always want to make sure you pray over it, you cleanse it energetically first, because you don't want to bring any bad juju into your house, to put it plainly in layman's terms, right? I would never buy, especially something like a wedding set or something like that, secondhand. Not because I feel like you have to pay top dollar, but I feel like you don't know where that came from. Why is a wedding set? What's it doing in a thrift store or in a pawn shop, right? Somebody did that. Now they either pawned it or sold it because they got divorced, and who knows what happened there, right? Or maybe they were widowed and absolutely broke and down on everything. Or maybe there was a murder, or maybe the person wearing it died of some horrific illness, and you don't know, especially something as personal as jewelry, you don't know what that person was into, right? So all of this stuff can be left behind, and I know some people are going to think that's absolutely crazy, but it happens. And let me tell you something, it's not crazy. If we could put on a pair of glasses just for a minute and say, okay, God, give me these spiritual glasses, and when I put them on, I'm going to see the spiritual realm. I'm going to see here in this reality, I'm going to see spiritual things, okay? Things that I don't see with my physical eyes. But when I put these glasses on, I will. I guarantee that you would not want to wear those glasses. People think that they would see, oh, wonderful things. Well, yes, you would. You'd see the angels protecting. You would see, good, wholesome spirit, right? But you'd also see a lot of nasty. You'd see a lot of nasty negative energy and a lot of nasty negative evil spirits that are ugly, ugly, ugly. You know what? I asked God for that one time. And when he gave it to me, it took a couple days. He didn't give it to me immediately, but it took a couple days. And then I was just driving down the street when I first saw this. And I know, like, my friends that knew me then would remember this. I was at a four-way stop, right? And it's the first time it happened. I'm at a four-way stop, and I look over at the car that's to my right to tell her to go ahead. And it's a young girl, she probably, I don't know, anywhere between 18 and 21, right? She's cute. She's a cute kid. And she smiles at me, and then all of a sudden, just for a moment, I saw her spiritual being, and it weren't pretty, okay? There you would see entities all over. So they're there. They're there. It's a matter of us being discerning enough to keep them away. Sometimes when you get those real negative thoughts in your head and they come out of nowhere, extreme jealousy, hatred towards another person, you're opening, either it's you having those negative thoughts and you're opening a door to allow them in, or if they came out of nowhere and you're like, why am I thinking about her or him that way? I don't dislike that person, but all of a sudden you're like, that's a spirit talking in your ear. If you're feeling, nope, things will never get better. They'll never get better. Nope, it could never get better. That's a spirit talking in your ear. I can't help this person because what if I don't have enough? That's not the spirit. Even if you're not a believer, you don't read the Bible, because it is biblical to give. But even if you're not, even if you are New Age or whatever, whatever your belief is, we know that giving is good. It gives you good karma. It's the right thing to do. But if you're living in fear and you're like, nope, I can't help because I might not have enough, um, you're living in fear, and fear is not a good thing. Fear is a negative, and that's a spirit talking in your ear. Anyway, I'm going off about this, but those are the questions I have for now, and I probably went a little too long in the video, longer than I wanted to. That was my girl Bambi. I named her Bambi because she looks like a deer. Look at her. She looks like a deer, doesn't she? She looks like a little miniature deer. Yep, that's my Bam. My Bamsaur. And then there's Mag. She came up earlier. I don't know if you saw her. I got my little Oliver sitting here next to me. Just so you know, I have 4 cats and 2 dogs. I had 2 cats, and I got them for my sons when they were going through a terrible time when they were kids. They're no longer kids. They have their own kids. And then one of my sons, shortly thereafter, brought my 3rd cat home in his pocket, and then Oliver, my youngest boy, he came a few years ago. Hi, baby. One of my sons brought him in. He was dropped out of a car and abandoned, and he brought him in little by little, and I just couldn't say no. So that's how that happened. It's not like I'm this crazy person that keeps saying, yeah, bring him, bring him, bring him. I am an animal lover, though, and I know I can't afford it, but if I had a big farm, I would have a lot of animals. A lot more than I already have. All right, guys, this video's gone too long as it is. But if you have any questions, if you want a private session, or if you have any other questions about me, I don't mind. Ask away. If I can't answer it, I won't. Or if I think it's too personal, I'll say so. But feel free to ask. And if you have a question concerning if you need spiritual guidance or if you need intuitive guidance, just a yes or no, whatever it is, if I can help you in any way, please email me. Also, I'm a life coach. I give packages for, I'm trying to raise money for some stuff that's going on, and I am having a raffle. I'm giving away a half-hour session, a full-hour session over the telephone, both of them, and a group session, which could be done by video or in person, depending on where you are. And the group is normally a $750 charge. An hour session is $175, and a half hour is $90. So $200, $100, and almost, well, it's like $700, sometimes $600. It depends. But I'm giving those away. $20 a chance. Every $20. So if you gave $40, you get 2 chances. I'm also giving a discount on every one of my services. On gift certificates if you buy gift certificates, and I'm doing packages, so you can buy the coaching packages. I have different coaching packages. Email me to ask. I also am giving away packages on just sessions, so if you don't want to do the full coaching, because coaching entails more than just sessions. We'll talk on the phone, we do email, I give you exercises, we work it's a whole thing with coaching. I give a lot to my coaching clients. I give a lot to all my clients. I really do. I give a lot. Somebody was saying, I have people that say, oh, you charge too much. And then I have people that know the prices out there. And they say, wow, you give too much. Well, you know what? This is what I love. This is who I am, not just what I do. And I wish I didn't have to charge at all. But until the day that I'm independently wealthy, I have to do that. So, plus there has to be an exchange. You can't. First of all, Americans don't value something if they don't pay for it, that's not how it is all around the world. The other thing is energetically, there should be an exchange. Even if it's not financial, there should be some sort of exchange. Alrighty, I've rambled on long enough. I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A, and I'm gonna be doing some lives, but I just figured I'd start with that. Alright, guys, you have a good night. If I don't talk to you before then, Merry Christmas, and please feel free to email me if you have any questions about services or if you need me for anything. Alright, you guys, have a great day.